There are things you can legally do in Idaho today that would get you a ticket or worse, where a lot of you are sitting right now. And I'm going to walk you through that whole list. Here's exactly what we are going to cover. We are going to look at your money and your taxes, your guns, your land, and the outdoors. We'll also look at the brand new housing laws that just passed this year and the trade-offs nobody is putting in the brochures. And if you grew up here, please stick around. The valley is changing fast and you can see it. You should know exactly what you've got and how rare it really is. Now, before I get into the list, let me tell you why I'm the one saying it. I'm Rachel. I was born and raised here in this valley, and I'm raising my boys here. I sell real estate right here in the Treasure Valley, and I've spent my whole life watching this place. And I spend my days walking people through a move to Idaho for exactly the things that are on this list. I have also watched the other side of it. I have watched people get blindsided by the fine print nobody warned them about, the water right that did not come with the land, or a tax bill that came in higher than the quote. The lot they assumed they could build on and couldn't. And that is the whole reason that my team and I make these videos. It is not to sell you a dream. It is to show you how to protect yourself so the people who get here actually get to stay. So let's get to the counting. We start where everybody feels it first, your paycheck. Idaho has one income tax rate, 5.3%. Now, it does not matter if you make $40,000 or $400,000. Same flat rate on the last dollar as the first. Now, let me be honest with you about this rate. You might have heard that Idaho keeps cutting its income tax. It did not cut the rate again this year. The state ran into a budget crunch in 2026. So if someone tells you Idaho just slashed taxes again, that's not true. 5.3 is still an amazing rate. It just is not any lower than last year. Idaho does not tax your Social Security. If you spent 40 years paying into that check, Idaho does not reach back in and take a slice. No estate tax, no inheritance tax. What you build, you hand down, and the state does not take a cut on the way out. Property taxes here are among the lowest in the country, and the homeowner's exemption knocks down what you owe on the home you actually live in. Now, lower property taxes are the good news, but there is a catch that blindsides new buyers, and I made a whole separate video on it. So go watch that one next. But here's what is actually new for this year. Idaho lined up with the new federal deductions, a bigger standard deduction, an extra one for seniors, and brand new deductions on tips, on overtime, and on car loan interest. Now, I am not your CPA, and you should confirm your exact situation with one. But for a lot of hourly workers and folks on a fixed income, that is real money staying in your pocket. So here is one that can catch a lot of newcomers off guard. It is that Idaho does tax your groceries. You heard me straight. You will stand at the Winco checkout and watch sales tax tick up on your milk and your bread. But the state does give it back as a credit, $155 a person, or up to $250 if you can save all your receipts. Now, I'd rather tell you that now than let you find it at the register. And one more that makes people do a double take. Idaho stopped taxing the gains on your gold and silver at the state level. Now, the federal tax will still apply, but the state of Idaho treats precious metals like money. That is a lot of numbers to keep straight. So my team and I built you something. It is called the Treasure Valley Relocation Audit. It It takes everything that I just said, the taxes, the real cost of living here, and puts your actual situation right next to it. It's free. It is in the description. Go grab it, fill it out, and you will know if the math works before you ever pick up the phone. And locals, this works for you too if you're thinking about moving across the valley. But heads up, the next one is the exact reason half of you clicked this video and the reason the other half almost didn't. We're going to talk about guns. This is the one every other real estate channel in this town usually skips, and I'm not going to. And this one is personal for me. I grew up in a family that owned guns. Hunting and shooting were regular family activities. So when I tell you Idaho treats this like a normal part of life, I'm not reading it off a page. I live it, and my husband and I are raising our boys the same way. Now in Idaho, if you can legally own a firearm, you can carry it concealed. No permit, no class, no fee. It starts at 18, and your city cannot write its own gun rules. The state owns that field. There is a statutory ban on any government registry of your firearms. No red flag law, no magazine limits, and it is a stand your ground state. No duty to retreat anywhere you have a legal right to be. And new this year, the legislature put real consequences behind it. A city that tries to break that one state rule now faces civil penalties and a court order. Now, remember the permission tax? Where a lot of you live, just carrying means a permit, a class, a fee, and a weight. Here, that bill is zero. But that is the Idaho you probably expected. The next one caught everyone off guard, and it is the one that actually changes what you can afford to buy here. This year, Idaho passed a whole slate of new housing laws. And while a lot of places spent this year making it harder and pricier to build a house, Idaho went the other direction. Starting July 1st, in cities over 10,000 people, cities can no longer force those oversized lots. Starter homes can go on lots as small as 1,400 to 1,500 square feet in new subdivisions of at least 4 acres. So that means more entry-level homes at lower price points. If you grew up here and you just heard smaller lots and more density and your stomach dropped, I hear you. And I know what a lot of you are thinking. If people hadn't moved here, we wouldn't need more houses in the first place. And I get that. But here is the part that gets left out. This valley did stop building starter homes long before the big wave of people showed up. So for decades, the rules pushed builders into big lots, which only pencils out as big, expensive houses. The starter homes quietly disappeared, and that hurt your own kids trying to buy their first place just as much as anyone moving in. This law goes after that. The rules, not the newcomers, and your city still controls how it actually rolls out on the ground. And another thing, a city can no longer keep a manufactured home out of a single family neighborhood just because it is manufactured. This right here is the permission tax getting cut in real time. There are now deadlines, shot clocks that force local governments to actually act on your permit instead of sitting on it for months. Now here is what can catch people off guard. These new protections only apply to cities over 10,000 people, and they do not take effect until July 1st. Some cities are allowed to opt out. If you're in an HOA, its rules can still apply on top of all of this. So whether a specific lot actually qualifies comes down to the city, the timeline, and the fine print. So don't assume a lot qualifies just because the state has opened the door. And I will show you how to find out and point you to the right people to confirm it before you fall in love with a property. And if you are looking at this as an investment, Idaho just made it harder for cities to choke out short-term rentals. They cannot cap on how many there are, and they cannot make you register. They cannot pile on parking rules, but they can ask for all the basic, like a smoke detector, a fire extinguisher, and that is it. Now, everything I've covered so far is about your house and your money. We're going to step outside because this is where Idaho really sets itself apart. More than 60% of this state is public land, and I want you to let that land for a minute. Only Nevada and Idaho have a bigger share. Over half of Idaho is ground you can hunt, fish, hike, and camp. And you can drive 45 minutes out of town, park, and walk into country that belongs to all of us. Here is the one people do not believe until I show them. The right to hunt and fish and trap is written into the Idaho Constitution. Article 1, Section 23. Nearly 3 out of 4 Idaho voters put it there in 2012. So it's not a privilege the state just loaned you. It is a protected right, and you do not have to win a lottery to use it. As a resident, you can walk up and buy general season tags. Oh, and as of this year, hunting is officially the state sport. So when a state picks hunting as its official sport, that tells you exactly how much the outdoors means here. The next one might be the biggest on this whole list. It just became settled law this year. If you are educating kids outside the public system, or you are thinking about it, this one is huge. Idaho has a parental choice tax credit. It is a refundable credit up to $5,000 a student, or $7,500 if the student has a disability. You can put it toward private school tuition, tutoring, curriculum, and more. And in February, the Idaho Supreme Court upheld it unanimously. So it is not a proposal, it is settled law. And if you homeschool, Idaho asks for almost nothing. No required notification, no required testing, and no curriculum to turn in for approval. Idaho largely leaves homeschool families alone to teach their own way. Okay. Rapid fire, a few more before I give you the fine print. Idaho is a right to work state. Nobody can force you to join a union or pay dues just to hold a job. You can also buy raw milk here, straight from a permitted farm or through a cow or goat share. Now try that in most states, might not happen. And as of this year, no more license plate registration stickers. One less thing to renew, one less line, one less hassle, and one less permission tax. Now I owe you the part the brochure leaves out. Idaho is not perfect. If you need a specialist or a certain surgeon, a rare treatment, you might be looking at a longer wait or a drive to a bigger medical hub like Salt Lake City. For most people, most of the time, it's fine. But if healthcare is your top concern, bring it to me and I will point you to the right resources to map it out before you move. And that word freedom, it has real limits out west. Your property rights run straight into water rights, easements, and CC&Rs. Out here, the water rights tied to a piece of land can matter just as much as the land itself. So I want to be straight about how I actually work. I do not hand you a guarantee and tell you, don't worry. I want to show you exactly what to check, how to check it, and who to ask. Because the buyer who knows how to do their own due diligence is the buyer who does not get burned. So on acreage, don't guess on the water. I will show you how to check the water rights and point you to the right people to confirm them before you sign. So here is where I will be very straight with you. This video gave you the freedoms and the fine print, but knowing the law and knowing how it lands on your life, your house, your land, your kids, your numbers, those are two different things. And that is what the call is for. Maybe you're on a fixed income, running the Social Security and property tax map, or maybe you are buying acreage and you need to know how to check those water rights before you fall in love with a view. Maybe you grew up here and you have watched your own kids get priced out and you want to know if these new starter home rules actually change that. And maybe you are sitting on a house worth a lot more than you paid, wondering what an ADU could do for you. Bring all that to me. The link for a free strategy call is in the description, right next to the relocation audit. And when you book that call, you get me. I will sit down with you, walk through your situation, and show you exactly how to get the answers you need. And for the ones outside my lane, I will point you to the right people. Okay, so how many did you count? How many of these would be illegal, taxed, or off limits where you live right now? Drop that number in the comments. I do read them. And here's the truth. Idaho is not freedom without fine print. It is freedom with a few trade-offs. You should walk in with your eyes wide open. The people who move here and stay happy are the ones who knew the whole picture before they signed. I was born and raised in this valley, and I'm raising my boys in it, and I sell real estate right here in the Treasure Valley with Good News Realty Group. And I don't want you walking into the biggest move of your life blind. I'm Rachel, helping you live your best life in Idaho, and I'll see you in the next one.